Hello there. What is going on, everyone? I want to talk about Wookiees. I really enjoy the Wookiees in Star Wars Legion. They're actually a lot more fun than I think I would have ever guessed. And plus, they're big and hulking and awesome and cuddly and all the things that your opponent doesn't want them to be. And I feel like they're also a big sort of empty space. So in this video, we'll be talking about what I think should happen with the future of Wookiees and a whole lot of really easy wins that I think Atomic Mass Games should give us. If you guys are new here to the channel, we're doing a big $50 Amazon gift card giveaway for an expansion of your choice. All you have to do to have a chance to enter to win that is to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. So Wookiees came out a long time ago, and then we got kind of a rebirth of Wookiees where they kind of re-released the same Wookiee warriors, but they're new sculpts, and they're also dual faction now. You can run them with the Republic and with the Rebels, and then there's some extra options. There's new command cards that you can run with the Republic. There's a new version of Chewbacca that came with Yoda that you can run with the Republic. A new command card for Chewbacca if you're running him with Yoda, and all kinds of cool stuff. So really trying to kind of lean heavily into the Battle of Kashyyyk, but this was also before they had battle forces, and since then we've seen so many battle forces, even an Ewok battle force. We still haven't seen a Wookiee battle force yet, which leads me into a new segment I'd like to call "Come on, man! Why is it this far into Star Wars Legion we still don't have a Wookiee battle force?" AMG. This is an easy win for you guys. Very, very, very easy. Just give us a Wookiee battle force. Got enough Wookiees in the game right now to make it work. Maybe you're holding out for like a little something more. I could see that, but there's enough stuff now to at least set the groundwork for a Wookiee battle force. It's an easy win for you guys. And I'm going to talk about some things I think they could do. I'm going to talk about some things, that I'd like to easily see them do, and maybe some more difficult things for them to do. But there's a whole lot of potential here, and I just think it would be incredibly awesome. Also want to thank today's sponsor, Luxury Playstyle. Again, these are full metal tokens, folks. You hear me talk about them. You see them in my battle reports. I use them in all of my games. They're absolutely spectacular tokens. They're really, really pretty. They're gorgeous. They're heavy. They're double-sided. You're going to love these tokens. And if you use code Crabbok VIP, you're going to save 15%. So head over to luxuryplaystyle.com. Link will be in the description below. And you can check out some of these amazing Legion-compatible tokens, as well as tokens compatible with lots of other games. Definitely check them out. All right, so we're going to talk about some of the things I think they could easily do to make this battle force complete. First off, you already have a couple of things, right? We've already got Chewbacca and a Wookiee Chieftain. It's a generic Wookiee Chieftain, but it's also unique, right? So it's not anybody in particular. So you have two commander options. You've got some Wookiee command cards. Don't really have like great command card options, but you've got some okay Wookiee command card options. You've got the Wookiee warriors that get you arranged in your melee, and you've got your Rada Nasp Fluttercraft, which is pretty cool. There's not enough in here that you can make a Wookiee list. Right now, if you wanted to make an all Wookiee list, you almost have all of the pieces. You'd have to do it in Republic, but you're still going to have to run clone troopers. You still got to run at least 3 clone troopers, which completely kills the vibe, especially like since when we see the clones on Kashyyyk, it's kind of like, okay, they very quickly turn, and then the Wookiees are like, oh no, we're going to kill all these clones. So I almost feel like they're natural enemies. It just never sits right with me to have clones in a Wookiee list. I almost just want to send them off to die first. Just kill 3 of my core units right away so I can then run 3 special forces and, and Chewbacca and the Wookiee Chieftain and some Rada Nasps. But as it stands right now, you can still kind of run a lot of Wookiees. It just won't be a battle force. And that's really kind of hurting because you can only run 3 special forces. And you've got 2 different options for special. You got the melee heavy option and the ranged heavy option. You could easily open up a battle force that doesn't require core, but that can allow you up to 6 special forces. That's going to let this work as is right now. You could also open the door potentially for certain other characters that are that thematically could work in a Wookiee Battleforce. First one that comes to mind is Yoda. Yoda seems to have the most synergy with the Wookiees. He was friends with the Wookiees. I feel like you could let Yoda work with the Wookiees in a Wookiee Battleforce. I feel like that absolutely works. I also feel like if we want to go a different direction, you could potentially allow Han Solo to work with the Wookiees. This works a little bit easier if you're considering letting the rebel version of Chewbacca as an operative work with the Wookiee Battleforce. I feel like that's an easy option, but that works a lot better if you've got Han Solo, because the operative version Chewbacca has the teamwork with Han Solo, so he'll work better. Otherwise, you'd probably just be better off running the commander version of Chewbacca instead. But still, either one of those are good options. You could maybe, from a certain point of view, justify mixing Ewoks and Wookiees, and that's kind of more of a throwback to how initially Endor was supposed to be Chewbacca's home planet when they were when they were writing it all, and it was kind of like initially that was going to be the thing, but so that was when they made a kind of a last minute change, and that's kind of why Ewok is kind of a transposition of Wookiee, Ewok, Wookiee. So I feel like there's kind of a natural relationship there. One's big, one's small, and maybe they could look good together on the tabletop. So that's another possible thing that could be done. But those are the easy wins right now. Hence the come on, man. Why just give us more special forces options, or maybe more supports. There's certain other things that I think would work really, really well, but wouldn't be Wookiees. There's a lot of synergy that they would love to have, but again, if we're trying to keep it to a Wookiee Battleforce, we've got to possibly look at adding a little bit more. That's one of the problems I think with some of the battle forces right now, is that they kind of made them all to where they're open-ended, and hey, new things can potentially go into this battle force. Like the 501st can potentially get Ahsoka, but she's not out and not even announced yet, and things like that. So we're gonna have to look at getting some more things. Like the Ewoks don't have a hang glider, or anything like that, but they should. So hopefully hopefully there will be more that comes. For the Wookiees, more things that should come. Well, how about Captain Tarful? They didn't, the Wookiee chieftain was deliberately not named Tarful. So even though I believe the scene that he was kind of modeled, he was pretty much modeled after Tarful, but you don't have to use Tarful, right? It's definitely not necessarily somebody that you have to use. So you have another commander option that's out there, which would be great. That also helps to open the door for operative Chewbacca. If you wanted to run, 3 named Wookiees, that's a way to consider doing it. I think that could be cool. I think if you do operative Chewbacca and then Han Solo, you may have to be like, okay, if you go Han Solo, you can't also go Yoda. You can do maybe you just say one extra character from the following list, and that's either Han Solo or either Chewbacca, and maybe there could be a couple other use cases where maybe somebody is deemed appropriate that can work with them. Definitely not Bosk though. No transitions. How about Chrysanthe? AKA Black Chrysanthe from the comics in Book of Boba Fett was just Chrysanthe. I'd be a great option. He's extremely popular and one of the most awesome looking characters we have ever seen in Star Wars, with the best eyes maybe of any character in all of television and cinema. I just like one of the most menacing appearances I've ever seen. Great presence. Absolutely loved this dude. I would love to see him show up in a Wookiee Battleforce. Definitely could be a merc that could go in other forces too. So he'd be just a great addition to the game. And I could see possibly holding out for a Wookiee Battleforce to line up with the announcement and release of Chrysanthe. That just makes a lot of sense to me. He's somebody who should be in Legion, make an excellent bounty hunter, probably could work for the Empire, right? Since the Pikes hired him, I would say he could probably work for the Shadow Collective, right? I definitely see him working potentially with the Shadow Collective. Again, let's release some new stuff that can add to existing battle forces. Why should Shadow Collective never get anything else again? Chrysanthe is a perfect option, but also would be a great option for a Wookiee Battle Force. This makes a lot of sense right here. He can go to a lot of different places. You might just open him up to all factions, potentially. There exists that possibility, maybe. It really kind of boils down to what Lucasfilm would think is appropriate, but I see him definitely working there. And again, absolutely also working with a Wookiee Battleforce. There may be attacks on it, though. He might come with like maybe a different version of him. Like, there was supposedly some backstory problems and like, you know, there's some shame on him with the Wookiee people and so on and so forth. So you could either say it was maybe before that or after, maybe after an eventual redemption or something like that. But either way, Chrysanthe would be really, really cool to come out alongside a Wookiee Battleforce. Be great, great promotion to come out at the same time as another release. Also, the Catamaran. This is something I think the Wookiees really, really need. Look, they've already got the Fluttercraft. This is a different vehicle. This would be a great transport. That's one thing I think the Wookiees would really, really need. It works in a Republic list for them to use the LAT LE, but if you're looking for a Wookiee Battleforce, I don't want to bring Republic vehicles and have a LAT there just for all Wookiees. We've got a perfectly suitable Wookiee option that, by the way, would look incredibly awesome on the tabletop. The Catamaran would be really, really cool looking, especially as a heavy, and to be alongside the Radanasps, which is, again, really cool. You're getting a really cool thematic type of look here, which is going to just be incredibly awesome, and a great way to transport Wookiees across the battlefield. It doesn't even have to be, like, it can be kind of a cheaper heavy, too. But really focusing on the transport capability with maybe a little bit of light weaponry. You know, I feel like it could be fun. It could also, maybe they'll also have overrun. You know, I don't want to take too much away from what the Radanasp can do, so maybe overrun might not be appropriate here. But if they're dropping off Wookiees, it could be really cool. Could be really cool indeed. And also, I want to throw a little shout out to something. I know that Luke Eddy had mentioned this, and I think either in an interview or on social media, back when he was initially working on Wookiees. This was some of the source material, is that there was kind of like, kind of like a blink and you miss it moment where there were actual turrets, Wookie turrets at the Battle of Kashyyyk. They were originally going to have better screen time, but they were pretty much cut, on the cutting room floor, edited out. But there were Wookie turrets at the Battle of Kashyyyk, so it could make for an excellent sort of support option, like an E-Web equivalent or an FD turret equivalent or something along those lines would be very appropriate for Wookiees and would give them a stationary option, which, depending on how it was designed, could work really well with the Battleforce or at least be pretty darn thematic. So I think that'd be a pretty cool thing. All of these most recent options, though, would require some new plastic to be made, and that could be something that's forthcoming. I think Chrysanthe's probably the best and most likely option out of all of it. But I want to hear what you guys think. What are your thoughts on Wookiees and a Wookiee Battleforce? Do you think it's time that AMG give us a Wookiee Battleforce? And do you agree? And do you like the new "Come on, man" segment? I'll talk to you guys later. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing and help make this channel possible. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. And